ahead, Stu.
Hi, Mike. Good to speak with you again.
What's up?
So I'm a big Giant fan. My wife happens to be a Jet fan. I'm talking to her last night, and I was curious to get your input on this. I offered up the guy that's out of Cleveland now, Williams. I mean, I look what he did with Baker. He made him look pretty damn good over the course of the season, and I'm wondering if you know why he didn't even get a look.
He's got I'll be honest with you. He's got a reputation that a lot of people won't go near. I mean, he's got a very, very tough rep. I mean, here's what I would tell you to do. Turn on This Year, turn on Hard Knocks, and just watch one episode. And
I never watched that.
You won't even need to ask me a question about Williams.
Really?
Yes. He will come across as a guy you'll say, can you imagine this guy being in your organization? That's how he will come across. Like he's the greatest coach of all time, that he can have any job he wants. He's always been this way. He's been a crazy talker his whole life. He's been accused of having bounties with players. He's just a guy who's kind of like a rebel. He's like a renegade. He's not a guy that people are going to look at as a guy they can trust as a head coach. He's just well, let
me ask you this.
I mean, he's ever going to be a head coach. I really don't.
Don't results count for anything? I mean,
he's never been a head coach. So I mean, I don't know what you're going on. You're going on his defense.
Oh, I'm going on the way Baker.
Well, you're going on being, but Baker wanted the offensive coordinator.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he made it impossible for anybody else to get the job. That's why Kitchens got the job, because Baker wanted him. Baker made it impossible for anybody else to come in and get the job, because that's how much he wanted Kitchens to be his coordinator. He wanted Kitchens. Kitchens wasn't even a coordinator when the year started last year. He was a coach. He was an assistant. He wasn't even a coordinator. And he got to be the head coach already, because Baker wanted him. Brian and Wyckoff. What's up, Brian?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
I think Mike McCarthy is a good football coach.
Yeah, so do I.
But I don't think he's anywhere near a great football coach.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I get it. I mean, he won a Super Bowl. He had Aaron Rodgers for 10 years. But if you listen,
he won 8 division titles.
But I don't know. It's a weak division, winning 8 division titles and 1 Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers.
Listen, it's hard to win. Listen. One thing it's totally unfair. Don't knock winning in the NFL. It is very hard to win in the NFL. So, when a guy has a record like Mike McCarthy's, you can't take it apart and say it's no good. It's not fair.
No, I didn't say it was no good.
You said it's not hard to win division titles in that division. That's ridiculous.
I didn't say it wasn't hard to win division titles.
Yes, you just did. That's what you just said.
I said he had a weak division. I didn't say it was
not a weak division. It wasn't a weak division. It wasn't a weak division all those years.
Terrible. Detroit and Chicago were terrible during those years.
Oh, come on. It's ridiculous. I mean, come on. That's just... Listen, his record is what it is. That's his record. You don't want to hire him? Fine. But you don't take a guy's record apart. That's his record. That's his record. It is what it is. Winning in that league is hard.
I get it, Mike. My point is that with Aaron Rodgers, who is number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the league,
right,
whether or not Mike McCarthy overachieved or underachieved, it's a close call. I think the talk in New York for the last week or so has been like this guy's the second coming of Bill Parcells or something.
Would Sean Payton have gotten the job?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Would Sean Payton have gotten the Jet job if he was available?
Yes.
Okay. How many Super Bowls has he won with Drew Brees?
But he hasn't had Drew Brees for 12 years.
He's had Drew Brees forever. He's been down here with Drew Brees. He's been down here with Drew Brees forever. What, he's been down here 2 years, you think? What do you think Drew Brees won the Super Bowl? Come on, you can't pick and choose. Listen, McCarthy had a resume that was worthy of being the head coach of the Jets. The question is, you want to hire him or not? Now, you want to use the last 2 years? He was coming off bad years. You weren't getting McCarthy at the high point. You were getting McCarthy at the low point. You were getting McCarthy after he had squabbled with Aaron Rodgers. You were getting McCarthy where guys coming out of Green Bay were nailing him because they had enough of him. It had gone sour. It finally went. If it didn't go sour, he wouldn't have gotten fired. It went sour the last 2 years. You go look at the years before that, you'll see a string of years where he ran off big numbers every year. Now, you want more than one Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers? Okay. But you know what? That's why I try to tell people about Eli Manning's legacy here. Winning Super Bowls is hard. Aaron Rodgers has won 1 Super Bowl. That's why when you win 2, like Peyton Manning, like Eli Manning has, you cherish it. It's hard to win them. Drew Brees has won 1 Super Bowl. Peyton Manning won 1 Super Bowl in Indianapolis. He dominated there forever. He won 1 Super Bowl there. Rivers hasn't even been to a Super Bowl. He's been there 15 years. Kevin in West Islip. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Mike. Good talking to you. Yeah,
What's
what you're saying about winning in the NFL, I mean, look at how many quarterbacks and coaches have won, multiple Super Bowls. There's not a lot.
Not many. It's very hard to win in this league. Anytime you win in this league, you don't ever look at it with a jaundiced eye. It is very hard to win.
Couple of points to the Gase and McCarthy, and also you mentioned about Greg Williams. I watched that Hard Knocks. That guy is utterly insane.
He's nuts.
And not to use any curse words, but every other word out of his mouth was F.
And you're not turning your organization over to him.
No,
okay?
I totally agree.
Yeah, he's not the type of guy. He's not the type of guy that you might let him coach your defense, but you're not letting him be the face man for your franchise. You're just not.
No way. Especially in New York. But with Gase, you were bringing up this point with the whole young thing. Do you think they went this way with him because he's young?
I think that's one of the boxes. I think it's one of the boxes, absolutely. Kevin, of the last 18 head coaches hired, 13 have been 50 or under. It's absolutely a copycat league. They're all looking to find the next McVay. Now, here's the one thing about McVay. He hasn't won anything. And McVay got accelerated because he's a legacy kid. His grandfather was a big part of the league. So he was a legacy guy, which got him advanced. And now, Saturday night, time for McVay to win. Time. He hasn't won anything. Dan in Stanford. What's up, Dan?
How's it going? Thanks for having me. Listen, I just wanted to get into some of the Jets' logic that apparently went into hiring Gase.
Good.
So, apparently, as you just mentioned, McCarthy was kind of getting trashed behind his back by some of the people. And so, that was kind of one of the reasons why the Jets didn't fall in love with him.
I think 3 things. I think, 1, he's getting trashed. 2, his last couple of years have been losing years. 3, they thought his ideas were a little old school.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's definitely fair, but, I mean, then why do you go immediately to a guy like Gase who had a losing record in Miami? And I think you also mentioned this as well, he basically ran himself out of town.
Well, no, he didn't get fired. No, he did not get fired. He was not getting fired. He pushed himself out of the job. He did not he was not going to get fired.
But why would the Jets immediately run to a candidate like that who clearly, when he doesn't get his way, he throws a tantrum? I mean, honestly, Mike, as a Patriots fan, I'm thrilled to have another AFC retread in the division. I mean, if this guy doesn't work out, maybe they can bring back Doug Marrone. I think that really worked out for the Jets. But
a couple of things in his defense, to be fair. Number 1, 3 years, guys, 2 games under 500, had a million injuries, and when he had his quarterback, he had a winning record. Number 1. Number 2. He was 20-7 in games that were a touchdown or under. That's a good sign in the NFL because you know what? You want to know how guys can coach close games. He was 20-7. Number 3, had a winning record in the division. He was 10-8 in the division. He beat the Pats twice in his building out of 3 tries. He was competitive against them in most games. I think they blew him out really badly once. And he was 5-1 against the Jets. So he was 3-3 against the Bills. Bills beat him twice this year. And the last game when they were already, packing, they knew he was packing up, or a lot of people thought he was packing up. As far as maybe some of the players at least thought he was packing up. The owner was not firing him, though. I know that for a fact. I got that from someone that I trust very closely. The owner did not go into the meeting to fire him. He went into the meeting to talk to him about changes, and Gase gave him some lip. And basically told him, I can coach anywhere in this league I want. And the owner was basically, you're not going to do that to Ross. And Ross said to him, well, then go coach somebody else. So he pushed his way out. Now, did he do it for the Jet job? I don't know. Did he do it for the Packers job? Did he do it for the Brown job? And he settled for the Jet job? I don't know. I don't know what his head was about, but he played it, and he didn't come out on the short end. He pushed his chips in the middle of the table, pushed himself into this mix, and got himself the New York Jet job. And he got himself a 21-year-old star quarterback. Now, he can't complain about a quarterback anymore behind the quarterback's back like he was doing. Now he's got a real quarterback. And now it's put up or shut up. See, to me, Jets can't come out with learning curve here. This guy knows the division. This guy has been in the league 3 years. This guy's got a ton of money to play with and a franchise young quarterback. It's win immediately for him. No curve. No time to learn. Nope. Win immediately. Jets, with the team they're going to bring in with the $90 million they have and the draft picks, will have a team that should be able to be a playoff contender next year. Tony in Oceanside, what's up, Tony?
Yes, Mike, thank you. But you know what? The Jets hiring him, and I like the hire, but I think the self-destructive tendencies and how he pushed himself out of Miami has to have been addressed. Because now you're coming to the media capital of the world.
I know the Jets knew it. I mean, I
not only know it, but to address it, Mike. I mean, if you're coming to the media capital of the world, it's got to be better than what it was before.
Absolutely.
It can't be having that acrimonious relationship.
And he's got a short fuse. I mean, I can tell you right now, he's going to have to behave. He's going to have to learn to deal with the media here a lot better than he dealt with the media there.
Well, let me ask you something, and you know better than me. Tom Coughlin, didn't Tom have to change a bit?
Tom's change was
relations to the media, even with the people.
Well, it wasn't really.
And he's much older than Gase.
It was not the media with Tom. It was Tom and the players. Tom had a rigidity with the players in the beginning, with his Coughlin time and everything, that the players felt that he was too strict about things that were silly. And Tom listened to them and backed off. He did do that. He listened to the players. Remember, early on, Strahan couldn't stand them, and then he found a middle ground with Strahan to win. At the end, Strahan worshipped him. So that's what you're talking about. He didn't fight Strahan the whole time he was here. He and Strahan went at it early. You know, he and Tiki didn't like each other. They didn't like each other. And then he taught Tiki how to not fumble the ball and become a great back. So they learned to respect each other. That's coaching. Tiki didn't love him, but Tiki had great years under him. He made Tiki a great player. He took Tiki from being a third down back who fumbled to becoming one of the top players in the league his last couple of years in the league. That's coaching. Now, that's also on Tiki, but I mean, that's also on the coach, that he learned to work and get the best. Coaches get the best out of players. Now, when they can't, they have to get rid of the player. That's the way it works. When you know it's a player, or as a coach used to say, life's too short to coach blank. You can fill in the blank. Okay? When you got a player that you don't get through to, understand that he's got to go. Because you can't waste your time trying to get through to him at the expense of the rest of your team. You can take one or two shots, but then it's time to go. Bill in Marlboro, what's up, Bill?
Hey, Mike, I just want to chime in. I liked your idea. I liked Arians and Todd. I didn't miss McCarthy at all. I think he's older. I think he's a little tired, and I think the stench of Ben McAdoo with him on his tree does not sit well with Jet fans. I'm a little bit intrigued by this guy now. Hey, Mike, who's his defensive coordinator going to be?
I don't know yet. I don't.
Try and get that going, man. I'd love to hear it. I'm a little excited. I want to keep it rolling here.
I've heard 3 guys for his defensive coordinator. Williams is one of them. I don't know. I don't have a problem if he brings Williams in as his defensive coordinator. I don't have a problem with that. Now, remember, they're going to be edgy then. They're going to be edgy. But I don't have a problem with that. But there's been 3 guys mentioned. I don't know which one, and I don't even know if the 3 guys, I didn't hear that from the people. I was in a rush getting information before I came on the show, so I did not get to the coordinator. I didn't have time for that. Mark in North Brunswick. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Mike. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst decision and 10 being the best decision, what would you rate this?
6.
Okay. And how many years will it take for the Jets to realize that they made the wrong decision again?
I mean, to me, it wouldn't take me. I would only need 1 year to know if this guy's the right guy. This is going to work immediately, or he's not the right guy.
If there's another coach, if there's a much better coach available next year, do you cut your losses and go for that coach?
Well, what did you do this year? I mean, what did he do this year? What was the Jets season? And what was the Jets?
I mean, if he goes 500 or lower.
I mean, I'd have to see the season, but and I would be very reluctant unless it was a nightmare to change the coach after 1 year. I would be very reluctant. But again, if they put the team on the field that I think they can with the resources they have, then I think they have a team that should win 9 or more games next year. And I think anything less is just unreasonable. Ross in Westport. What's up, Ross?
Hey, Michael. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what's up?
So I would just pump my brakes a little bit. I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, you and I agree that you can't buy experience, right?
Yeah, no, I think you need. I think they needed a head coach, so I think that's a positive.
And I'm with you on that. But you've got a second-year quarterback. I mean, I think that, make it to the playoffs or is, a little bit unreasonable. I mean,
no.
I think that.
Listen, I didn't say playoffs. I said 9 wins. I think there's a difference. I think they can win 9 games. I don't think there's any question.
You're right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. So you think they can win 9 games with a second-year starter?
Absolutely.
Right? You don't,
Absolutely.
And you don't think that he's going to see things, defensive schemes, things that he hasn't seen before?
I think in the second year, I think these guys learn fast now. I think at the end of the season, he was no longer a baby. I think he was seeing things fine. I think he was picking up things quickly. I think it was more on the guys around him at the end. I thought he had jumped up immensely well. After he came back from his break, I thought he was a different player, and I thought you saw the real player. I think he's ready to win.
You think he can accelerate that fast through this year? You think he's seen it, he gets it?
Yes. I think he's the real deal. I think he's the real deal. I think he's ready to win right now. I think you got to put the players around him. And that means get him a line. Stop worrying about guys like Bell. God, the last thing, if I hear Bell make my head explode, you don't need Bell here. Go find someone who can do for you what Quentin Nelson did for Quentin Nelson, okay? You guys never heard of Mac. Do they need Bell on the Colts? Or do you see Mac getting 130 yards? Because they have a franchise quarterback. They went and got a franchise guard who's killing people. How important is that guard? You tell me, go ask the Colts, would they rather have Bell or Quentin Nelson on their team? See what they tell you. Rocco in Newark, what's up, Rocco?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's happening?
Okay, so I have so many questions for you, but only 2 questions.
Good.
So the first one is, if this guy wins 5 games next year, do we fire him? Number one.
That's silly. I mean, I don't know.
5 wins.
It's gonna. That's if that happens. You know what? We'll talk about it then. I can't get into that right.
And number two, everybody's looking for the next McVay. Now, if McVay gets shut out by Dallas with the defense, what happens then? Is everybody going to look at this all different?
No, listen, I think that people do that. It's an offensive league now, but they had to pick a guy. See, they didn't pick a guy who has no history. They picked a guy who's got a resume. He's a pro coach. He's 2 games under 500 for 3 years. That's not embarrassing. He didn't have his quarterback for half that time. He wasn't a bad coach. I mean, Gase has not been a bad coach. They were not firing him. This guy, he was a competent coach. Guy's not, 15, 20 games under 500 here. Rich in East Brunswick. What's up, Rich?
Hey, Mike, quick thing. The way you're talking, you're comparing who? Gase to Vince Lombardi. He was no better than Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles didn't have a quarterback for the past 4 years. Oh, he got Darnold now. Who did he have before? Fitzpatrick and Joshy. Oh, boy, two retreads.
Did you watch the game?
And now we're going to say Adam Gase is the next Vince Lombardi? Did you
watch the games?
Sure, I did. I've watched every single
so
you're
telling me that you watched the games, and the games that Bowles coached were as good as well. He coached the games as well as Gase coached.
Didn't have a quarterback. Who do you have?
Neither one of them had a quarterback.
Who do you have? Fitzpatrick and no wide receiver.
Listen, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. You just really don't. I'm not trying. Listen, Gase was. I like Todd Bowles. He was a bad head coach. Gase is a guy who can coach. He can coach. I'm telling you right now, he can coach. I said that before. I've said that about Gase for 3 years. He can coach. And he beat the Jets 5 out of 6 times when he played them. So how are they even? He beat them 5 out of 6. Wasn't like he was 1-5 against Bowles. He was 5-1 against them. John in Westchester. What's up, John?
Hey, Mike. How's it going? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
My observations, I was a little disappointed of the choice over McCarthy, but I understand it. McCarthy probably wanted too much autonomy, a lot of money.
Not true.
And Gase, all right.
Not true. He did not make demands. Let's not sell it that McCarthy did anything wrong. McCarthy came. Okay. They didn't want him.
All right, well, here's my observation about Gase.
They did not pick him. That was it. McCarthy's Green Bay hurt McCarthy. I'm just telling you right now, Green Bay, the situation in Green Bay hurt McCarthy.
All right. Well, I think Gase is going to be fine. I like the fact that there's a lot of negative press about it. A lot of fans are upset about it. And if he comes in, and he's got to win the division. And that's what he's there for. Win that division, get into the playoffs, or either win or get into the wild card. He's played in the division. He knows the division.
I agree with that. I think he's right.
Do well.
I mean, at least he has had a little success against the Pats. He's beaten them a couple times. He beat them 2 out of 6. That's something. He beat them 2 out of 6. Beat them 2 out of 3 times at home. Back after this.